Guys, welcome back to Black, White, and the Grays. My name is Kylie, and look at my beautiful tree. It smells so wonderful. I think it's a choke cherry, but it doesn't produce any fruit. So if you know anything about them, let me know. Well, I thought I came between rains, but it's actually currently raining. And I thought it'd be fun to take you on like a little garden update because I feel like I haven't done that in a bit, and show you what's going on. Oh no. Guys, I tell you, this has been a weird spring. We Central Oregonians are starting to make jokes that we live in the valley because we've had so much rain, and the valley is Portland, Salem, Eugene, which is known for a lot of rain, but we're not. We're a very high desert climate, but this spring has been cold. So cold, in fact, that I'm going to insert this picture, which is a screenshot of the weather report for tomorrow night and Monday, which is today, Saturday, which there is snow. It is snowy. It's becoming mid-June, and it's probably not going to snow. It probably will spit some, but I would hope it's not that much. Hopefully. Today was our last day for our boys baseball, and normally we start in March, April, and it's snowy, and by the time it's mid-June, it's scorcher. We haven't had one baseball game that was been like hot where I was able to wear like shorts, and I got some random mishmash that flew in here, that I have been able to wear like shorts and a tank top or something. We haven't had a single one. It's been a very unusual spring for us. Very cold, very wet. I haven't had to water my garden except for at the very like early stages, actually in April. We had a couple days that were maybe like a week or so where we didn't get rain, and I had seedlings. So now everything's kind of popping and able to not need so much. But here we go. So this is our garlic, and it's doing quite well. This is I have my camera here. I have my phone here because of the rain, but some of these are getting huge. They're a good couple feet tall. They typically throw off scapes. We do the hardneck variety. They're more hardy for our zone. We're a zone 3, 4. If you Google us in our local area, I was at our local Buy Mart, which is like a local version of like a Walmart, but way smaller. And a gal I was looking at plants, and she was like, "Excuse me, miss, do you know what zone we're in?" She's like, "We're a zone 6, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I gotta beat the bearer of bad news to this poor lady." I was like, "Well, that's what Google says, but OSU, I think the extension office up at Oregon State, they did a micro zone climate, and we're actually a zone 3, 4 with a frost risk all year round." And I told her, and she was like, "Oh," and you could kind of see the look of despair on her face. And I'm in this like awkward scenario where I'm like, I don't want to overput my bounds. I should have been like, "But you're gonna grow so much, follow me on the YouTubes." But I feel like that sounds conceited. And I mean, I struggle a lot, so sometimes I feel inadequate as a gardener, and so I don't really want to tell them, "Oh, hey, you're talking to the right person," because that's just weird. But I wanted to be like, "But yeah, we're zone 3 with a frost, but we can still grow things." And sometimes I just feel sad telling people these things because a lot of people are moving to Central Oregon because it's a very popular place to be right now. But I feel bad for them, especially when a lot of people are moving from California to here. That's a big difference. But look, the garlic, I did have some, and we weeded this really good this week. The grass is coming back up with all our rain. It's crazy, guys. I will not be able to get over this. I'm going to just mention it to you. And for those of you who live in a more rainy climate or get a lot of rain normally, it's not that big a deal to you, but to us, you can go back on a lot of my videos, especially over the summer. We'll have June, July, August, September, some Octobers where we don't get any rain, and it's like a freaking miracle when it happens, and the joy I have over rainy days. But to have it constant, not constantly, but weekly, consistently, like 4 days a week, it's I don't even know what's happening. I'm now like worried. I'm like, garlic, you got mulch, but please, this has not been my problem. Much is worrying about my plants rotting in the ground. I don't even know who we are anymore. Who are we? I have no idea. My baby cabbages. These were seedlings I started from myself. I had originally had over 900. And it ended up losing a lot because I was neglectful. And those like 2 weeks where we had some like warmer weather, they were in the greenhouse with no shade cloth. And I was having to water them every other day and didn't realize with everything else going on. And so some of them bit the bullet. But they were doing pretty good. They had some struggle bus issues of after we planted them. They had some transplant shock, which is when you have a seedling and put it in the ground, if you didn't heart it off properly, which I did not. I got lazy and was just like, oh, that'll be fine. And most of them were. And we did lose a couple. So look at how cute this are. Am I gonna have a cabbage patch this year, guys? I hope so. Like, here's a missing one here. We re-sowed it with some seeds just to kind of fill it in for aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So now we're going to just flip you over here. Onions, baby. They're doing pretty good. So this bed in particular, you can see these are grass clippings, and something fascinating was, I've had her on YouTube before, but she is my friend Kathleen. She is an Energizer bunny. She is 65. We met her riding a bike. I don't know, shoot, it's been like 5 years now. 6 years maybe. It's like a couple years after we moved in. We met her riding a bike here. And ever since then, she started buying eggs from us. We don't sell our eggs anymore, but we did. She started buying eggs from us. And then she was like coming and wanted to help in the little garden. It was when we just had the little garden, and she would just pop in and help weed. And we had so much food, I would just kept giving her food, and she'd bring the chicken scraps. And now she's one of my good friends. She helps basically weekly in the garden with me and brings us, she is the most giving person. I know she doesn't watch our channel. She's not much for TV or phones much, but she is a worker bee, and she is one of the biggest blessings of living where we live right now. We live in like a neighborhood, but we have parcels of like 5 acres, 2 acres. Some people have less than an acre, but we're on 5 acres. But we have neighbors all around us, which isn't my favorite. I would really like solitude. I'm an extroverted introvert. So I recharge by having alone time, but in a party, I can be the life of the party. I could be fun and energetic, and you might not know that I'm quite introverted, but I want, eventually, our dream property would be to have, I'd love at least 100 acres. And housing prices here are redonk. So I don't know. It would just have to be something the Lord provided, which he did provide us this house. So for a smoking hot deal, and this was a way big, I'm getting sidetracked, guys, but moral of the story is, moving here, we wouldn't have ever met Kathleen and a few of our other neighbors that we really love and enjoy. Oh, here comes some more rain, guys. This is crazy. I tell you, I can't get over it. But so Kathleen is just a giver. She just brought me over some more comfrey and some horseradish. I'm staying out in the rain, guys. Seriously, we gotta get this garden walk. It's just rain the next few days, or snow, you never know. Not so, right? Snow mid-June. Not so. Okay, but anyway, the moral of my story is she brought this right here, and all these mushrooms started popping up. They are a poisonous mushroom, but all this fungi started popping up. The soil's alive and well, and then we didn't have enough grass compost for this half, and she just brought it over this week. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Now, Okay, so part of me is just like, are you fucking kidding me? More rain? I'm getting this mentality, which has not been my mentality ever in life before. But like, at this point in life, I don't even know what to do. It's just like, I come between rains and try and get a garden walk in. It's just so rainy. It's not normally like this, guys. Go watch last year's videos. Anyway, these are my, okay. Oh, these are our onions. The majority of these onions are from seed. The ones that are actually over here that are doing good are starts. They're Walla Wallas that I purchased starts. The rest of my onions, I started from seed. My seed ones will catch up. They're already doing really good. The start ones pre-started purchased are already kind of ahead of where mine are, but they'll catch up. And these are some storage red onions, the rest of them to finish out the patch. And these are all leeks, which I did with my cedar, and they're pretty thickly sewn together. And they'll be a crop that we really don't pull out till fall. All right, here are my boleros. They're storage carrots, and they're quite patchy, but they are doing pretty well. Those big things right there, this was our garlic bed last year, and apparently some bulbs got left in, and they're coming up. I'm kind of just seeing what they do, because they're a clump of garlic, like a garlic bulb, and they are in kind of growing close. So it's an experiment here, people. We got some weeds we got to deal with. We weed this each week. I've been weeding, and we have a couple volunteers that come out. Kathleen, I've told you about. And then we have another gal that comes out. And then we have my Lulu, we've had Lulu here on our farm. She started as an intern when she was 13, and she's a homeschool kid and got school credit. Now she's 15. So it's been 2 years with Lulu, and she now is our part-time employee. So she works couple hours a week and comes and weeds and plants and really is helpful to me with that. So she's been weeding each week and does a quick weed through these beds, and we're still getting weeds popping up. This is how much rain, guys, I'm telling you. The weeds are just going nutso. These are the sugar snack carrots with some purple, I don't remember what you are. What are you? Some purple ones from Johnny's that I just had extra. These are some more, hello chickies. These are some more carrots. Yep, I don't remember the variety. And then I have my Parisian markets on this half. These are the crazy beets. Those giant, no, I thought they were. What the freak are you? You are definitely beets. Those are the crazy beets. I don't know what these are. Speak to me. What are you? I don't know what these are. Whatever the heck they are, they're germinating really good. You can see. Are these sunflowers? They're totally sunflowers. We got some. Oh, this is so fun. This is so fun. I'm going to have to tell. No, what are you? Oh, they're potatoes. That makes sense. We got some volunteer potatoes in here. We're going to let them go, guys. You look like a carrot, but are you a carrot? I don't know what you are. I don't know. We'll figure it out when they pop up. These are definitely the beets. Those big kind of gnarly beets. These two beds are actually planted as well. We have potatoes, Brussels sprouts, rutabaga, beets, and turnips in here. We have our piggies here. They're in their little house. We've been moving them around, just getting some really weedy places. We also have some chickens. It's just like a animal palooza in here. It's worked out very well this year. Later on, these will be our succession sowings where the animals currently are for fall. And yeah, anyway, our broad beans, some of them are doing good, and the germination hasn't been as great as I thought they would be, but it seems like, look at this one. He's like coming out, but he's on top but in. I don't know what he's doing. Here's a seed. Oh, sorry, sir. We'll put you back. It seems like they're germinating Either some of them are a couple inches tall and some of them haven't germinated yet or just now starting to germinate. I don't know. I've never grown like a mass production of these yet. So this is our first year. I sampled them last year and in my little garden and they did pretty good. It's germination spotty, but we'll see. My peas, they're starting to come up pretty good. And peas and carrots. Oh, I did sow another thing of bolero carrots over there. That's what those are. Because I was like, I don't have enough storage carrots. Which I'm glad because that first row was a little spotty. That one looks really good. And these are also boleros. I just wanted to make sure I had a lot of storage. And there's nothing here yet. I was going to do some, Lulu got a little wild with sowing her peas. And so our cattle panels are wild, but it adds character, right? Right. So, sunflowers have been really spotty. Has anybody noticed new seed this year? A little questionable. I don't know, man. This is our first succession and they're pretty spotty. And our second succession is just starting to pop in. I'm having this flower area just a schmiss. It's kind of taking the back seat of food production. I've talked about that a lot in some videos. I'm not going to go in the greenhouse today. There's a lot going on in there, but nothing like this. Let's go to the high tunnel, show you what's in there. Real quick before we go to the high tunnel. This area looked like this area. And I have this silage-ish tarp. It keeps... I hear more rain coming in. And then we put the pigs here and they cleaned up this whole area. Right here's some berry bushes that I kind of fenced them out of. But look at the difference. So they're going to come here after they're done with those two beds and get this kind of cleaned up. And it's so nice because I can just tack in their electric fence right next to my beds and they're not able to get in. Oh, that tree, guys. It's so beautiful. They're not able to, whatchamacallit, get to my plants. On the list is making a cute garden gate. She ain't pretty, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So this fall, Kathleen and I underplanted a ton of daffodils under this tractor. This is my grandfather's old tractor, and my uncle actually hauled it over on a flatbed truck trailer a year or two ago from his house in the Portland area. And we underplanted it a ton of daffodils, and they're just now starting to grow up. They're like way behind any other thing. It's a hot mess, but what else is new? On my way to the high tunnel, I have been embarrassed to show you guys this because it is quite embarrassing. It is a complete mess. And I had my Kathleen over and my sister and some other volunteers, and I was embarrassed to have them help me plant tomatoes. Not my sister, but Kathleen and the gals. And I really just didn't want to bring them into here because I was ashamed. And I was like, it doesn't look good. We put the plastic on in the winter and I knew this was going to happen. We knew if you put high tunnel plastic on when it's cold, it's going to get kind of saggy in the summer when it gets heat. Well, the little amount of heat we've had, it does expand it and it needs tightened. We haven't had the end wall done. These doors I built are flim flam. I'm a flim flam builder and they look trashy, and we still have our stack of lumber from our addition that never happened because our builder screwed us over. I have stacks of cardboard in here for making beds. We have chickens in here chicks that we're brooding, and it's crazy. And so I've been embarrassed. But then I was telling my people this. I was like, I was really embarrassed to bring you guys in here. And they're like, why? I'm like, because it's embarrassing. And they're like, you know what, Kylie? You have huge gardens right now. The fact of the matter is it's a work in progress and it's gonna look good. We know it's gonna look good. We've seen your gardens look good. We know they will. The big garden always will. It's gonna look good this year though, you know what I'm saying? It's also a work in progress. Everything is a work in progress. And this is a major kind of a, I don't know. It is what it is. Let's go. So I quit yakking at you. Okay, so we've been working on planting tomatoes, and they are very close together. And it is because, well, because we live in a, I think I walked right into a cobweb. We live in a very short season. And with that, tomatoes, in my experience, in an unheated greenhouse, do not grow that tall. So here's a bed of tomatoes. They're planted very close together, and they go all the way down. And so far I've been using my auger. Let me show it to you. My drill auger. There's another bed of tomatoes here. It got cardboard and it's getting mulched right now. Not right now, at the second. Okay, so here's this auger. This has been like the best tool ever. I got a 2-pack on Amazon for like 25 bucks. Best 25 bucks ever. We still have a million tomatoes to plant. Peppers haven't even gone in. We got a lot to do. But here is the high tunnel. I'll just flip. Oh, I got some frost cover. So here's all the cardboard, chicks, lumber, crazy. Here you can see where we're mulching, working on mulching. That's kind of like some just compost from last year that had a lot of hay in it. There's Trey coming home from baseball. And this is what it's gonna look like. I have nothing planted here, nothing planted on the edge. 3 little boys made this bed. They didn't quite add enough compost, but it was a good start, and they made that months ago, kind of during early or late winter. But it kind of just needs a compost refresh and a weed. So we gotta get this lumber out. It's been so wet though that we haven't done it, and it's kind of infringing. I've lost 5 trees and a couple more are questionable. So we'll see. This guy's questionable. The peaches and nectarine I'm having the most trouble with. I think a lot of these cheaper bare root trees that we got at a farm store and at Costco, they chopped the roots off like pretty far, and in my experience, they do better with a little more root. So I got this Zone 3 apricot. It's doing pretty good. It's bouncing back. It got frosted pretty good, even in the high tunnel. And it is doing actually very, very well now. And it was more expensive. It was $50, but it had a good root ball. And it is a Tilton apricot. And it's a Zone 3, which is a big win. So our issue isn't being able to grow these fruit trees outside. We can grow these fruit trees, especially apples, cherries, Zone 3 apricots. It isn't that. It's the frost on the blossoms. Here comes some more rain. It's the frost on the blossom. It's the frost on the blossom that really gets us, because if you have frost on your blossoms, you get no fruit. So that's kind of my tactic of planting them in here. My parents are like 3 years ahead of me with doing the same thing. This year, their fruit trees are pretty established, where I think they're not going to pick the fruit off this year, that they'll let them produce. So it'll be really curious to see how theirs do. We're going to do a couple more beds, and because of our frost, I'm avoiding putting peppers and tomatoes on the edge of the high tunnel, and I think I'm going to do things that are like a little more hardy, not like hardy, but I was thinking of doing some bush beans on the edges, and I haven't planted them yet. I feel behind, but at the same time, life, it is what it is. We got a bowl here. It is what it is. We're getting it in. My tomatoes we buried so deep because some of them are so leggy because it's been so cold. We've been putting it off. And now with this frost coming in, I'll probably do a separate video about that and how we'll prepare. But essentially, that'll be in the next one. I just can't shove it into the... But it is like that wall needs redone. Like that rip happened when we first installed the plastic. And the back end wall just needs done. There's no door back there. The plastic's not secured very good. We just have so much work to do in this place. And the flower garden needs work. Now, But we're okay. So let me talk some more about these tomatoes. These tomatoes, especially these San Marzanos on the edges, I'm debating on actually trellising them at all. Now, before you freak out, let me tell you my reasonings. One, well, there's a few things. I sewed these so tightly because I have followed, what is it? Simple Living Alaska for years and years. And they're zone 3, and that's how I found them, because we're in the same zone up in Alaska. But they don't seem to get frost in the summer. But what they do is in their little high tunnel, they pack their tomatoes in. And so I'm like, I'm packing them in and see what we get. Like, if we don't get a lot, this isn't, I know in the South, some of you guys you plant them like 3, 4 feet, 2 feet apart. We don't have the same problems as you. We don't have a lot of pests because we have so many cold nights that pests aren't an issue. Really, mildew's not an issue. We're just so dry, and humidity, like the humidity seems a lot right now, but it's nothing compared to what you guys have. So they're closely packed in together. I think if I do trellis any, it may be these, but I did, and definitely some indeterminates that I have planted, that I'll be planting here next to these trees. I have a theory. So in the years past, the greenhouse, anytime we'd get frost in the summer, the tips that were up the highest would get the frost, and everything down lower would not freeze, closer to the ground. So my idea was, you ever see Veggie Boys? If you haven't, they're fun to watch on YouTube. They're in northern Pennsylvania, and they have like a family farm that's quite large, but it's like big but small, way bigger than what we are, way smaller than like a big, huge corporate farm. But they're a family-owned business, and they plant so many tomatoes that they don't have time to trellis them, and they're out in the fields, and they just let them lay flat, and they do great. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing, I'll give you that, but 1, less work. 2, I really think the warmth of the ground by not trellising our tomatoes would be beneficial. My sister's giving it a whirl this year. I guess I think it's just a bit of a pride issue why I'm not just letting them go crazy. I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking of doing an experiment. Some trellised, some not trellised, and see what the difference is and see if it works. Like the warmth of the ground, am I going to lose a lot of tomatoes by having them trellised with the frost in the summer? Or or am I going to lose a lot from just being on the ground? I think it'll work good. We're gonna attempt it and see what happens. So there's that. We'll figure it out. It's not as aesthetically pleasing. This, in the next coming weeks, this will all be moved out here, so I'll have more room to plant. But yeah, all these tomatoes and peppers will be getting in the next day or two. I'll be done with that. So here we are, guys. We didn't go to the little garden. I feel like we've been spending more time in there. I actually took you into there. Maybe I'll add it as another video later on in the week, because I was just in there with you guys replanting stuff, but it ended up not being like enough for a video. Here you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I would say a lot of my seedlings out in the big garden have done amazingly well. There's a little spotty stuff here and there, but all in all, I think they look amazing. And here in the high tunnel, I think things are going to jam. Hopefully, if we survive the frost, I'm a little scared for that. But we're going to do our best to protect them. These roll-up sides, we got them going. They're doing awesome. I love them so much. Even rolling them up a crack and having the cross breeze just cools this down great. They were out of our shade cloth when we purchased our high tunnel. And if you've been following along with our channel, this high tunnel we got through a grant through the USDA, technically the NRCS. And we had we have the shade cloth up, and it just does partial, which is also an experiment. They were out of our shade cloth last year, so this was just from our little greenhouse, and it was too much shade for that. So I moved it over here to see if it'll work out. All right, guys. Well, there you go. That was kind of a little long garden update for you. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your gardens are doing great. What do you think of the trellising idea for the tomatoes? You think we should just experiment, how I'm saying, and see how it goes? I think so. What do you think? Might as well. Why not? Who cares if it's not aesthetically as pleasing for YouTube or garden tours, or like we have a physical garden tour that comes, which is in August. So keep an ear out for those dates. But my yarrow, first one, wild yarrow blooming. Right there. That's the perfect picture of what grows wild. Our mullein, which is great medicinal, and yarrow, which is great medicinal. There you go. This is a realistic, I would think. I'm sure a lot of people, other gardens are doing better than mine in the area, but here's mine. It's doing pretty good. I'm proud of it. Slower going just because of the cooler weather, but it's going. All right, guys. Well, I hope to see you on my next video. Well, I'll see you on my next video. Thanks for following along, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps us out. And I'll, guys, see you on my next video. Bye, guys. Well, before I go, I emptied this last night. Looks like we got a half an inch of rain. You don't know what a big deal this is. We got a couple inches. We're like getting an inch a day when it rains. So I'm gonna leave this here for the rest of the day and see how much more we get, but can't get over it, guys. Rainy, rainy, rain.